Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna make this Mickey Santa. He's ready to deliver all the presents and to decorate your house for Christmas. So we're gonna start with the ball. The ball is the 60 millimeters ball, and we're gonna use enough black clay to cover the ball, but you don't give it too much of the excess because you don't need to modeling or sculpt anything on the ball. And actually you're gonna cut it off where the face is gonna be, so we just cover it and don't leave too much of the clay around. But with your palms, it's just kind of heat it up everything and get all the marks off. Now with the cookie cutter and a heart shape, we're gonna start making his face. You're gonna mark at the top of your ball where the face is gonna be. If you think it's really hard for you, you can just place the face on top of the black, but I like to get the black out, so when I place the skin color for the face, it's all in the same direction, the same height, so it looks kind of better in my eyes. But if you think it's harder, you can just place on the top, place a toothpick and let it dry. So now with the 30 millimeters ball, you're gonna start making his shoes. You're gonna cover the ball and get the excess on the top, making a teardrop shape. Always try to work with the palms of your hands, not the fingertips, so you don't get fingerprints in your clip. Make the teardrop shape, press it down on your table. I'm using this craft phone to keep everything that I'm making because I think sometimes I stick on my table, it loses the shape, so that's what I'm doing. With a little excess, we're gonna make a ball and a roll, and we're gonna make the back part of the shoe, and we're gonna place right there where the top of the teardrop shape was, like making a boot. And now we're gonna smooth all the edges and all the seams where they both get together. Just use your fingers, or if you need it, a little bit of water. Be careful with the fingerprints. Smooth everything. Check if you have any scratches or marks before it dries. You need to clean it up now. And make the back of the shoe be very rounded so it looks like a Santa boots. Just like that. Now I'm using a little bit of water and getting all the seams off. You just go over. If you don't have the tool, you don't need to worry about it. Just use your fingers. Take your time and leave the way you want it, perfect to dry. And then we're gonna do the second one, but before that we're gonna make a long snake. Put it around the top of the back of the boots just to give a little finishing, and then you cut the excess with the scissor. Put a toothpick, because if it dries after, you're not gonna be able to, and let it dry on the top of the craft. And we're gonna make the second one the same way. This craft phone, you can find it even at Walmart. It's really good for you to put your clay to dry and to protect from the table or anything you're using, so don't stick or lose forms. The same thing, we're gonna make the snake for the finishing on the back. Cut the excess off, smooth everything. So now I'm showing how I put it together to dry, because know that a lot of people don't show this, and that's the tricky part, how you put your topper to stand or to sit, how to do that. So I use a cake dummy, thick enough to don't fall to the sides, and I start putting together the extractor with toothpicks, because it's very easy for you to make a topper that's gonna lie down, but it's not that easy when you need to make a topper to stand, especially Mickey that have a big head, big hands and things like that. You need to kind of balance and be sure that it's gonna stand. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do that for the Mickey to stand. I think is an important part of the video too, and I hope you guys appreciate that. Now for the ears, we're gonna make a little ball, and we're going to squish between our palms. You don't want it to be very thin, so it's kind of like your tiny finger in the width, I think. You want it to see by the side, but if you're making it bigger, you need to make his ears bigger. He has the ears, the head, the hands, and the shoes very big. That's a very big characteristic from Mickey and Minnie, so you cannot forget to do that. So I'm gonna put the toothpick. Use your 2 fingers to push around and to see if your toothpick is not making holes or showing up in the back and in the front. And you're gonna let it dry. So now you see that I have the head here, then I'm gonna let it dry, but before I'm gonna make the holes for the ears, because once my clay is dry I won't be able to do that again. So don't forget to do that and keep everything drying. Now for the legs, we're gonna start with the red, and I'm gonna make a roll. And if you guys want all the measurements of the weights, let me know. I never do that, that's me, but if you want it, I can try to measure again. I keep forgetting when I make videos. So I'm just like to look at my topper and kind of see if I need bigger or smaller, and I always make 2 sides at the same time so I know that they look the same. And now I'm gonna place the legs. That's why I want to give you guys this view and how you put it together and how you make it stand. So you're gonna use a lot of toothpicks or wires. I like to work with toothpicks, some people like to work with wires, and you're gonna need to let the legs dry and the shoe dry before you put the body, or everything is going to squish down. So make the legs, make the shoe, and let it dry before you keep going to the next step. Then it's now with the 35 ball, or it's the 30, I don't remember which one, but just look at the topper, see what you think is better. We're gonna cover in red just in case. You're not gonna see it, but I'm covering just in case to start making his body. But before you place the body on the legs, please let it dry a little bit to don't get all squished and ugly. So that's how it looks when it's dry a little bit, and that's how it looks to get them together. Pre-make the hole on the body, because if you squish this ball down on your toothpick, you're gonna get the legs squished, you're gonna get them out of place. So it's always easier to pre-make the hole before you try to put it on. So I'm putting a little glue, and I have my pre-made holes, and I'm just gonna place right there with the measure, like the ball is kind of almost all to the front of Mickey, not the back, because of the belly. So try to put in the middle, but leave a little bit more in the front so he doesn't have the back arch. Then we don't want it. And now with my fingers, I'm just gonna push up all the clay from the leg just to give a little finishing. But you don't need to do that because we're gonna cover it. But I think it looks better when everything looks seamless and in one big piece of clay. For the sake of the video, I put my body before it dry, but I didn't finish, and I had a lot of things to hold to dry and don't squish down. But the best thing is really to let the legs dry a little bit. Now I put the toothpick in the top of the body just in case if I need it after. And then with the red, I'm just making that little teardrop shape that I always use for body. And then we're gonna cover the red to make the top part of his body, the upper part. Use the palms of your hands to make everything smooth and perfect. Pre-made the holes, because on the bottom of this is gonna make the ball that we put for the body, and then the top is gonna need to hold the head. So I like to pre-made so I don't squish anything. Put a little glue and put it in place. See, that's how it's gonna dry for now. Now with the little white, you're gonna make a teardrop shape and flat on the table, and we're gonna start making his gloves. He has a really pretty big hand, and that's why we need the structure to be very well done so it doesn't fall apart or doesn't tilt it to one side and the other. Use the scissor, make your V cut. The little part that you cut is the thumb, and the other ones is gonna be the 3 other fingers. Remember, the Mickey has 4 fingers, not 5. Smooth the sides, and now we're gonna cut out the 3 other fingers. You're gonna make 2 cuts and separate them, and now it's smooth the tops. And now you're gonna decide the way you want his fingers to be, if he's pointing something, holding something, or with the hands together. So now that's how you need to decide how you want it to be and what he's gonna be doing on your figurine, so you know what to do with the fingers right now. I want him to be holding Christmas lights, so I'm kind of gonna make the fingers to be a little bit more like bended. And I cut the excess where the glove is, and I'm kind of figuring out how I want the fingers to look like. You guys can copy me, or you can make him holding whatever you guys want to. Just don't forget to smooth every seam and make everything around the fingers to be rounded. Because when you cut it, the scissor gets everything straight, but you need everything to be rounded. And that is a pretty big hand, so that's why I keep saying that the extractor needs to be really good. So I want his fingers to be like that, just because when the fingers are not going all the same direction, it gives more life to the hand. Instead of putting like all banded together, I always put the middle finger, not the middle finger, the big finger and the top kind of to the other direction, because it gives more life, it looks more real, I think, other than Mickey's not real, if you understand what I mean. Now put it a little toothpick, check if everything is smooth, and let it dry. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other hand, but before we're gonna make a little ball and squish it down for the end of the glove, and we're gonna set apart. You don't need to worry too much about it, just set apart. And now we're gonna make a long snake in white. And yes, I did the other hand, I just didn't show because this video was already super long. So don't forget to make the other hand and cut it the thumb on the other direction. When you look to your hands, the thumbs are in different sides. So don't forget that. So I made the snake and I flattened that out, and we're gonna start making the details of the fluffy white part of Santa clothes. Don't worry, I will show you guys turning around like this. You're just gonna place around between the boots and the clothes. Try to make straight as possible, and then we're gonna get the texture. Just gonna cover all that for now. You don't need to worry about the seams, because we're gonna make be a little bit more fluffy, more like a texture, so you don't need to worry about. Cut the excess, put it in place. Use a little glue if you need it, or water if you're working with fondant or gum paste. And now with the tool, you're gonna make all those little dots to look more like fluffy. If you don't have this tool, I will leave the link below where you can find it. But if you don't have it and you don't want to buy it just for one topper or whatever you're doing it, you can use the back of a paintbrush. You can use anything and you have, then it has a little pointy place. And we're gonna do that all around. Now I made a little snake in black, and I'm gonna place his little tail on the back. I'm cutting 2 pieces of red clay. I'm gonna need 2 of those big circles, and you need a circle big enough to cover the entire body up and down. just the upper body, not the legs, and you're gonna understand why. It's a very easy way to make the jacket for Santa's suit, and I think it's easier than cover everything, so it's always like I do it, so I want to show you guys. So you place one circle and a half of the body going back, and you're gonna place the other circle on the half of the body. It's not easy. It's way easier than trying to, I don't know how to sew anything, so for me to try to make clothes, but I think this one is a very easy way, and then they're exactly the same. And then in the back, with the back of the toothbrush, you're gonna eliminate the marks of those two circles. And the front, you don't need it because it's the opening in the jacket, but in the back you need to use your fingers and smooth everything out. Now with the little white ball, you're gonna make the bow and flatten out and put it right in the top for the detail between the neck and the body. Now I'm opening a red clay for his arms. Mickey doesn't have a really long arm, but it needs to be thick, so he's gonna be able to hold your hand, because the hand is big, but not too thick. Kind of look at your legs, they need to be thinner than the legs, but not too thin. And then I'm gonna cut in half, make sure that they're both the same size, and then smooth it out all the edges. Go your finger up and down in the middle and bend it for the elbows. Just disappear, can't remember. And now I'm just gonna mark a little like clothes mark, fabric marks, just to give a little bit more a realistic look. Mark the same thing the other side. And where the arms are gonna be as well. And again, all the materials I'm using and tools and things like that, and I can find for you guys, I leave the link below on the box of information. So if you need anything, just go there. There's my Etsy page if you guys wanted to buy any other toppers that I have already pre-made, or any other things, all down below. Just please go check it out. And now we made the snake again, and we flattened it a little bit, and we're gonna start making the details for the jacket. So we're gonna put it around, put a little glue or edible glue, depends on what you're using. Just add it, adapt your materials for whatever clay you're using. So I'm using cold porcelain, so I'm using white normal glue, Elmer's glue, and I'm going all around. Don't use too much glue, like little is more here. I think clay doesn't like the excess of glue because that dances around and doesn't stay where you want, so just a little tiny bit. We're gonna go all around. And then we're gonna do the details with the tools or toothpick or back the paintbrush like we did on the bottom. We're gonna give the texture all the way around. If you guys are liking this video and want to see more Disney Santa friends, please just let me know. Give me a like and leave a comment down below. And I was thinking about making Minnie or Goofy or Daisy, so if you guys want to see one of them, please let me know down below and give me a thumbs up to help me out. Now I'm placing the arms back on the body. Now that they are a little tiny bit dry, and I put a little snake, then I flat it and around the neck as well, just to give the finishing for his jacket, and we're gonna give the texture again. Now the same cookie cutter that we cut the black on the head, I'm making the circle with the skin color for his face. Smooth the edges, because always when you use the cookie cutter you can see little pieces of clay, you know, there. Use the glue. Don't put too much glue, but you need to put glue all around your black because you want those two clays to stick together, and when cold porcelain dries it shrinks. If you don't make them stick to each other, you're gonna have a hole on Mickey's face when it dries. And now we're gonna place that heart right there. Use the palms of your hands to don't make fingerprints on his face, and try to gently make your skin color heart touch the outside black part. You need to worry about the top of the heart, the top where the eyes are, not too much on the bottom, because the bottom you're gonna put the other part of his face, the mouth, the nose, things like that. So any imperfection is gonna be hitting anyway. The only thing you need to worry about is the top of the heart. You can even cut a little piece like I did. Now we're gonna make a ball. Make a roll, then it's kind of 3 fingers together. Put your fingers on the side, roll up and down, up and down, up and down, and you're gonna have this kind of little triangle shape. Those 2 sides are is Mickey's cheeks, and the little ball in the middle is gonna be his nose, his mouth, and his chin. So that's why it kind of looks big, but it's not once you put it in the face and everything is all around. But don't forget to leave the 2 sides the same size, and just already kind of start making the nose, so you know where those little top of his nose is gonna be. I just try to smooth it out and give a little bit of this shape before I start putting in the face. And I wanted to show you guys, it's hard to explain, it's easier to look because it's not really a shape. But look at your Mickey. Always have a picture of the Mickey around you, so you can look and try to model it the same, you know, Sculpey the same. So now you see the 2 sides, then I use my finger up and down is the sides, and goes around almost on the black, and then the rest is gonna make his nose and his face. I put the excess down right there gently because you don't want to mark. And then we're gonna start separating the cheeks, the nose, and the mouth. Push it up, because his nose always go up, not down. And get all the marks off before you start to cutting faces and anything else. Now I'm just using a little bit of water and glue. It's a little mix, then I use water and glue, and I'm gonna try to smooth out that line where that face, the heart is touching the mouthpiece, then we just put it on. You don't need to do that because it's not an easy thing without marking where the eyes are gonna be. I like it better when it's smooth and one piece. Since it's his face, it should not have 2 pieces. But if you're just learning or studying right now, you can definitely just put it on the top and don't worry about smoothing this line because you really don't see it. But since I have been making Mickey for a while, I like to do that, and then I use just a little bit of water to smooth it out until I don't see that seam anymore. But if you are scared or you just starting, you don't really need to do that. It's not everybody that does it. I just wanted to show because I started doing it a couple Mickeys ago, if I say. But if you don't want to do it and you're scared, you don't need to do it. But if you're going to do like me, you need to do before you start shaping his mouth, because after that kind of everything moves around a little bit. So do that before anything else on the face. And use a little bit water to smooth everything out. put it back in place if you moved a little. When you work with clay, you always need to go check the thing that you just did, because you're moving around and you're holding your hands, things get out of place. So before you let it dry, always check everything that you did. And now I'm pushing upwards because the nose and the mouth go up on his face, so you don't want it to be dripping down, so you always push upwards. And I'm marking the side to separate the ticks where the nose are gonna be. You just make a little indentation right there. I'm not speeding up and how to make his face because I think it's the most important part, so I hope that helps you guys. And now with the tool, I'm just gonna start opening his mouth. You go one side to the other side. And now I'm just gonna make it be a little circle on the edges, just to give a little smile face. And push down to see if everything is the same size and it's going round all around. And smooth inside his mouth too. With the ball tool, we're gonna make a little circle and push down inside his mouth where the tongue's gonna be. So you're just opening a little place for the tongue to be. And then you just smooth and check if the face is still the same. And I like to push all the excess of the clay inside the mouth because I will place the tongue, so it's gonna hide everything. And now I'm placing a little indentation where I want his nose to be. I like to do that before. First of all, because when you put the nose, it kind of fits better. And second, because I know where it is and if the face looks the way I want you. So now we make two little balls the same size, and you're gonna make a little roll. And for the eyes, you also can make a hole on your skin color before you put the white, but I don't like to do that because I like to put the eyelashes using clay. But if you want to paint his face, you can paint on black or make the indentation and then put the white inside. Just be sure that the two eyes are the same size. Doesn't matter if you're making clay or you painting it, just be sure that they are long, not really rounded, and that they are the same size. And Mickey has his eyes right on the top of the nose, very close to each other. I know that he has like a wide face, but the eyes are very in the middle, like under that little butt of the heart. So it's very like under that, on the top of the nose. And now I'm just making the side not be rounded, to be more like a long way, kind of oval shape. And I'm just being sure that my two sides are the same size. Take your time. The face is probably what takes longer, but the face normally is that what makes him look like Mickey, or the whatever you're doing, the figurine you're doing look like they are. So it takes a little bit more time to make Mickey's face, but everything is worth it. And now I'm making little tiny little oval shapes for the black part of his eyes. Again, just be sure that they look the same size. And we're gonna place right on the top of the white part we just placed. Just like that. And I'm making sure that it's not a circle, it's more like an oval shape. Because when you squish down to put in place, sometimes the clay goes down, makes more like a circle shape. So that's what I want to do. I made a little circle and a teardrop shape, and I'm pushing down for his nose. So the top of the teardrop shape is the part that goes on the skin, and the bottom of the teardrop shape is the top of his nose. Now I'm placing the ears. Remember that I pre-made my holes on the head, and I'm using the scissor to push down through using the toothpick, not the clay, because if you push down at the clay, you can lose the shape So be careful to do that. If it's not completely dry, when you push down, you don't lose the shape, or one be one side, like you lose the sizes and they look different. And also check if you're not seeing any toothpicks. So now I put the hands on place, those little circles, and then the hand, and now I'm making the little lights. Then he's holding it, and I also have the video for that on my channel. If you guys want to learn how to make these little lights, I just separated because this video is already super long. You guys gonna need a snack already, so that's why I separated everything. So now with the little skinny, super tiny snake, I'm gonna place on the top of his eyes to make the little eyelashes that he have. He doesn't really have eyelashes. Minnie does have the eyelashes. He has just that arch around the top of his eyes, and that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I like to have the white be on top of the skin color, because when I place this little snake, it looks cool. But if you want it, you can totally make the whole, put the white and then put this in the top. Use a little water or a little glue if your clay is not fresh and it's not sticking it. But mine is fresh. I didn't need to do anything this time. And that's it. And that's the tongue. I don't know what happened to the video. The tongue is just a ball that I put in the middle and placed there. And now with the white acrylic, I'm making the 2 little dots for the light reflection. With my chalk pastel, I'm using a little pink on the cheeks and under the nose, just to give a little 3-dimensional little detail. When you put it like pastels or a little color in the cheeks, can even be makeup if you're not making edible, or petal dust if you're using fondant. It gives another life for your clay, so that's always a good step. But that needs to be totally dry before you do that. So my had dry overnight, and then I'm doing this. If you try to use pastel when you're wet clay, it's just gonna make a mess. So let it dry completely before you try to paint or use any pastel colors. So now I'm gonna make his Santa hat. I'm just making kind of like a long triangle, and I'm gonna just fold it down. I wasn't sure if I wanted him to have the hat or not, so I made kind of a small hat just going to the back. So I'm folding it to see if it's long enough. And then in the bottom, we're gonna open with our fingers like we're making a funnel. And this is gonna be the part that is gonna go to his head. I didn't want it to cover too much. I didn't want it to be too big. So if you want a big head for Santa's head, you can do it. Even if you want to use fabric, you can do it as well. And then I'm going to squish down the middle of his ears, and then get that excess all around, going to the front of his face and to the back, and going down that triangle. Then we just made it. The back part is the back of the head. Then I'm gonna lower down and just have to peek out on the side of his head. And I'm using the excess of the dough to cover the back of his head and a little bit in front of his ears and forehead. And smooth it out everything before you let it dry. See, you can see the head peeking in the side. I made a little ball, and I'm making the texture to be the pom-pom at the end of the hat. We're gonna glue right there. And I'm just giving a little bit more texture because I was holding to glue, always loses a little bit. And now with the long snake, you squish down on the table and make all the little texture, and we're gonna place right in front of his head, going ear to ear. I didn't put in the back because for me it didn't make too much sense, but if you want to put in the back, you can too. Just place there, use a little glue or water if you need it. And he's done. I put the lights on the top, but he's holding it. He's still in the base, and he's gonna be in the base until he dries for like a day or two. I will put all the wood skewers to hold it, and then when it's done I will put it in acrylic base like you can see here. He's so cute. Now he's in the front door, like I have a little table as soon as you open the door, and he's there, and everybody loves it. Everybody's trying to steal him. So make one to give it for a present, make one to decorate your house for Christmas. I hope you guys like it. Let me know if you want more. Leave a little comment below and a little thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.